Hi, welcome to our second interviews with CASA. Today we are doing cocktails with CASA. My name is Natalie Stomach. I'm the development director. I still have my trusty iced tea in a CASA mug, and I sort of wish it was whiskey. So I'm going to get my cocktail after this. Um, Thanks for joining us to learn more about CASA and what we do to serve children in foster care. You can comment if you've got a cocktail, where you picked it up from, if you're supporting your local businesses. Also, if you have any other comments or questions, you can post them in the Facebook chat or YouTube chat, and we will try to answer them as we can as they come in. If we don't get to you during our live broadcast, we will come back and answer it later. So I would like to, first of all, introduce our CEO, Don Beneker, to tell you a little bit more about what CASA of Tarrant County does.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you being here. CASA has been in business in Tarrant County for almost 36 years. Every year, children are removed by Child Protective Services and placed in foster care because of allegations of abuse or neglect in their home. These children go into foster homes or relative care, and many times they are taken away from everything they know. They're taken away from their pets, their schools, their homes, the environment they're used to. They have no friends, and they go into a home that they know nothing about. So this is pretty scary for these kids, and the kids are automatically, whenever they're removed, there's a lawsuit filed in the courts in Tarrant County, and the children are appointed an attorney that's supposed to represent their legal interests. They also have a CPS caseworker, an OCOK caseworker that manages their month-to-month care to make sure they're getting the things they need. There's a lot of people, the foster parents are new to them, and these children are surrounded by people they don't know. The courts appoint CASAs, or court appointed special advocates, to represent the best interests of these children and kind of look and make sure that the children are getting the things they need. Our volunteers graciously donate their time and their efforts to go see these children, to make contacts with them and make sure they're getting the things they need. The CASAs are basically eyes and ears for the court. So they advocate for all the needs of the children, including their educational needs, their medical needs, their therapeutic needs. And we just want to make sure that these children are safe in the foster homes where they're placed and that they feel safe. So many times these children are placed and they're separated from their siblings. So the things that CASAS can do is we advocate on behalf of these children and make sure that they're getting the services that are required to keep them safe and make them safe. And we want to monitor the things that are going on and make sure they're getting the educational needs. So our volunteers will speak with the teachers, look at their educational stuff and see what's going on. Make sure these kids are getting what they need on their grade level. Many times when kids come into care, they lose about 6 months of time of their educational status just because their whole life changes around them. So it's important that the teachers understand these kids have special needs as far as education, and our advocates can volunteer to make sure that those kids get the things they need. We can monitor their schoolwork, look at their report cards, those kind of things. We also talk with the foster parents. We want our volunteers to go see them in the home where they're living, and we try to do that about twice a month. We want to see them either at school or at home. During this COVID crisis, it's been a very difficult time for the kids in care as well as the foster parents and everybody else that's involved. So we've kind of had to change the things we're doing in regard to advocating for these children. Instead of being able to go face to face and see them there, we've had to be creative and find other ways to do that. So we've used a lot of Zoom meetings and FaceTime meetings and Skype meetings, those kind of things, just so we can see the children, we can talk to them, we can look at them, they can read. There's many things that can be done online with these children, and foster parents encourage it and welcome it because it gives them some private time while the kids are able to talk with us, talk with our volunteers, and make sure that they're getting their needs addressed. So our volunteers will write up a report, a court report, and they'll submit that to the court. So when they have court hearings on these children, the judge has an opportunity to review what's going on with these kids. They can look at how things are going in the foster home, whether they're academically on target or on level, and any concerns, medications, those kind of things. We're going to put that information in the court reports and make sure the judge has that. So when they make decisions about the children, they're making informed decisions that has most of the up-to-date information. So CASAs are very important to these kids, and we appreciate you being here and supporting CASA as we try to do the things that these children need to keep them safe and get them home eventually if that can be done. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate every one of you.
Don, CASA is such an integral part of the child welfare system, and now during this crisis, even more than ever, can you describe a little bit how CASA fits into the child welfare system as a whole and how important that volunteer is?
Yes, the children have so many different people that are working with them on a daily basis, and CASAs are the people that come in. They basically have one case that they're assigned to. It may be one case with one child or maybe one sibling group. CPS caseworkers or the OCOK workers, they're going to have anywhere from 20 to 25 cases. The attorneys that represent them in the legal system are going to have dozens and dozens of cases that they're representing. The judge hears thousands of cases that they're listening to, and the other professionals that are dealing with them, they have many other cases they're dealing with. Our CASAs are appointed to these kids from the day they come into care, if we can do that. And they stay with these kids until they leave the system. They are the only constant that these kids know. They are going to be there for me at a birthday party, at a visit, a parent visit. They're going to be there to make sure that I'm okay. So we're the one person that has the time as a volunteer that can give the kids the time they need, and that child knows that those people are going to be there for them every day.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Don, for telling us a little bit more about CASA's mission. You can give to CASA today during North Texas Giving Tuesday. All of your donations will help support our work in advocating for kids, like Don talked about, and how important we are in the child welfare system. And you can also donate your time. So you're going to hear from a board member to tell you about what those gifts do, and then you're going to hear from some advocates to tell you what they do as volunteers. So next, I'd like to introduce our Board Secretary Jeremy Bravo to tell you a little bit about why you should give today and how you can get involved. Hey, Jeremy, we can't hear you. Is your sound on?
It is now. Can you hear
me? There you are.
So I was talking about, since this is Cocktails with CASA, I do have a birria from Salsa Limon. They have great food and great drinks, so I encourage you to check them out. And I wanted to talk about CASA today on this Giving Tuesday. CASA right now has just around 500 kids on the waiting list, waiting to be helped. That number is growing, and right now, think about all the frustration you have as an adult with all the self-isolation that's going on. Someone's telling you to stay home, someone's telling you what you can and can't do. All that is going on, and it creates a lot of stress for people. Now imagine being a kid going through all this, being pulled out of your home, being pulled out with maybe just a trash bag with a couple items. Now you're going over to a stranger's home, people you don't know, you've never met. You're meeting attorneys, you're meeting advocates, you're meeting foster parents. Your life has just been changed. So it's very difficult for children right now. And there's just so much going on. As we know, we've all seen in the news, child abuse is going up. Many factors because of that. People lost their jobs, they're home all day, they're frustrated. Many factors that are causing that. And it's terrible to hear, yet we still have advocates that are doing the best they can with everything going on. They are live streaming, they are talking to their kids online, and all that is great. Yet we still have a staff, a tremendous staff that we need to support with CASA. We have a staff that is full of supervisors, full of support staff that still needs to have that support to the advocates to help these kids. There's just so much logistics that goes behind the entire system. So your donations go to support all these causes, the systems that we use, the staff that we use to check in on the children, to check in on the advocates. It's just a tremendous help. So if you can reach deep down within your heart and just realize that there is so much going on in the world right now, but there are children that are experiencing what we're going through just on a whole different level, and it's sad to see. But know that your funds are going to an amazing cause. I say this all the time. There's so many people that were put on this earth to help veterans, animals. In my case, it's children, and everyone at CASA. We were put on this earth to help abused kids. So please find it within your heart if you do want to support this amazing cause. Today's an excellent day to give. Any day is an excellent day to give, but today is just a special day that there's just so much giving going on throughout the country, and we would really appreciate your help. So thank you so much from the bottom of all our hearts.
For sharing a little bit. CASA, we're a volunteer. Important is it for us to have you were an advocate before you were a board member. How important is it for us to have male volunteers speak up for kids?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I was an advocate before I became a board member, and it's incredibly important. Our ratio of children is 50% female, 50% male. So men, and my first case was actually 3 boys and 1 girl. So I just see that the boys, they really want that male role model, right? Because, you know, many times in the foster home, the wife is home, you know, she's with the children. So in my case, I had, you know, 4 kids, 2 different homes. And in both cases, you know, I'm speaking to my cases, the wives were home. So the women were home with the kids. So they're really missing that male role model. And in many cases, they've been hurt by that person that's supposed to be that male role model. So if we can get a lot closer to closing that racial gap, you know, I think 16% of our advocates are male. We'd love to get closer to 20%. 20% would be a huge jump. That's a goal. I mean, ideally, we'd love to be at 50%, but we just need more male role models. Just the way a male role model is very important in any home, it is very important to these children. So yes, we are always looking for male role models.
Thank you, Jeremy. And that our cost work. And then now we're going to hear to tell you about what learn how to donate your time to CASA as well as an advocate. So I'd like to welcome Norma, one of our advocates, to tell you a little bit about her experience as a volunteer.
Hi, guys. So in my own childhood, it consisted a lot of an absent father. I had a struggling single mom, and because of that, she depended on a lot of different family to raise me until my teenage years. And I encountered, unfortunately, some of the things that children in care have had to experience or currently are experiencing. I believe that if I would have had somebody like a CASA just looking out for me, my life would have just been so much differently. My childhood would have consisted of more consistency and stability. And so when I heard about CASA, I actually heard about CASA on the radio a few years ago. And when I looked more into it and realized that they did exactly what I needed as a child, I was eager to get involved. I've learned that I could speak up and use my voice to advocate for children that are in dire situations. And I have now been advocating for 2 years, and I've seen cases go through reunification as well as adoption. And either result, the connection with the families involved has grown much beyond the case.
You were doing a great job of being an advocate before all this started, but what has changed for you? How are you connecting with your children now that you're not able to see them face to face?
Okay, so my kids, I've got 4 kids, and they range from newborn up to 4 years. And prior, I was visiting, in home, and we'd play games, and it was just an exciting time for a visitor to come. Now, we've had to shift a lot too. I do a lot of FaceTime with the kids. I'm able to read to them, so that's something that I've had to learn how to be an enthusiastic reader. And I observe parent visits through Zoom, so I'm still very involved with the parents as well. And we communicate that way with the foster parents and the children's lawyers, as well as the OCO caseworkers. Just today, I actually was able to record a book and send over to my kids because they get so excited about my reading, but I just can't read to them all the time.
Well, we so appreciate our advocates thinking outside of the box. One of the things that we say is that our volunteer child's life, you to stay connected to them in this time and for them to know that you will be there for them no matter what. Here.
I'm sorry?
What have you, your favorite thing about being a volunteer? How does this experience make you feel?
So I think that I have children of my own, and so it's really exciting to be able to explain to them what I do. But I think the most joy is preparing the children that are in care to either go home to a stable and structured home because of the encouragement and stability that the parents got throughout the system. I'm sorry, throughout the actual care system, or in the case that I had adoption, just being able to see that child move into what a different future will look like for her, one that has love and joy and stability and structure for her versus what she came from.
Right. Well, again, Norma, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, for being an advocate. We truly appreciate your time and effort and could use a lot more people like Norma. So if you're interested in an opportunity like this, you can learn more at speakupforachild.org/register. And again, if anybody has any questions, you can type them in the comments section and we will get back to you. Now I'd like to introduce Catalina, another one of our volunteers, to tell us about her experience.
Well, thank you, Natalie. So I choose to become a CASA volunteer because for me, children are the most vulnerable in our society. So as I get it, we as a community must step up and become those extra compassionate pair of hands to offer support to those children in times when their parents have failed to give them the love, the care, and the safety they deserve. And let me add this. One thing I value about CASA is its effectiveness. Statistics favor those cases where CASA volunteer has been involved in terms of achieving the family reunification. And this is how I see human beings long to be seen, long to be noticed. And from those parents' perspective, to have the support of an outsider like a CASA volunteer, it means to be seen, it means to be noticed. And sometimes this could be as a trigger for those parents to do better and start to complete the programs so that they can get back their children. And this is all what matters. I mean, our job matters because we push those parents to be a better version of themselves. So my girls are 4 teenagers, and this can be a little bit challenging, but well, what we love to do is when I go to the foster home, we prepare the dinner. And because of my multicultural background, so we have started to cook some Hungarian dishes, some Venezuelan dishes, and next time they were supposed to amaze me with some Mexican food, but then came quarantine time. So right now, beside the calls, the text and pictures we are exchanging and mail we are exchanging, I offer them some online yoga sessions, and one of my advocates and also foster mom grabbed the opportunity. And for me, that's amazing because foster mom also needs to be more relaxed to do a better job, right?
That's so amazing, Catalina. We're so impressed with your virtual yoga sessions. How different do you think this is for teenagers in foster care and isolation away from their friends than maybe smaller kids?
I think it's very challenging for them because a teenager has a lot of energy, and being every day at home, they usually get bored, right? But in this case, they get more bored, and so that's really stressful for them. So I have tried to be creative. For example, I send them, I colored for them a mandala and send them a set of mandalas so that they can color it. And I think this is like sending them good vibes. And well, we have to be creative in this situation, right?
So much for sharing. Advocates that are going to staying their advocacy during this challenging time. You can support them today by giving to CASA at givetocasa.org. And we would love for you to learn more about how you can be a volunteer at Speak Up for a Child /register. And to tell you how to get started in that process, we have Lauren Pavlicek, our community engagement specialist.
Hi guys, my name is Lauren. I'm on staff here at CASA of Tarrant County. We basically just wanted to take a moment to ask you to consider becoming a volunteer, just like Norma and Catalina. So most of the children in the foster care system are given a CASA volunteer, but there are still about 500 children on our waiting list who are waiting on the voice of a CASA volunteer. We need volunteers to walk alongside a child while they're in foster care. Our volunteers don't have any specific sort of background or career type. Our volunteers come from all walks of life, ages, and ethnic groups. We're basically just looking for people who are willing to be a consistent presence in a child's life as they walk through the foster care system. These foster children go through lots of different changes while they're in foster care. That could be caseworker turnover, moving to different foster homes, new schools, new rhythms, new routines. But their CASA volunteer stays consistent, gathers information to help judges decide where the child should go when their time is in foster care is over. So our CASA volunteers play a really big role in consistency for our children in our community. The first step to becoming a CASA volunteer, if you're interested, is to attend a 1-hour information session. So that's all we're asking from you up front if you want to become a volunteer, is just to learn a little bit more. We have information sessions weekly, and you can sign up for those on our website right down here at speakupforachild.org/register. We have one coming up on Friday, May 15th, and then another one on Wednesday, May 20th. But our information sessions are scheduled all throughout the year. We would love for you to join us for one of those and learn a little bit more about like requirements and lots of different things like that our volunteers go through. But we're just most of all grateful that you guys have taken time to be part of this Cocktails with CASA, and that you care most about the vulnerable children in our community.
Lauren, we have a question. How long will it take to become a volunteer?
Yeah, so our volunteers go through about 33 hours of training, which sounds like a lot, but they go through training 2 nights a week for about a month. So it's a pretty doable schedule. There's court observations in there, so you get to see what it looks like for a CASA volunteer to advocate for children in the courtroom. You'll work with our trainer, Sharon, and she'll explain to you what it's like to work with children who've experienced trauma and abuse. And then there's a little bit of like hands-on learning and things like that. So we say about a month of training, and then once you become a CASA volunteer and you're sworn in with a judge and everything, we say it takes about 12 to 15 hours a month of your time to advocate for a child. That's including documentation and just traveling to different visits and seeing your kids and things like that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. The other thing you can do if you are interested in telling other people about this volunteer opportunity, you can contact our office. Is happy at any group, Rotary Club, talk to you about CASA anywhere.
Yeah, we do information sessions weekly online, virtually right now. And then we typically do information sessions out in the community. So you're welcome to fill out the form on our website if you want us to do an information session for your group of friends or Rotary Club or anything like that.
Lauren, again, sticking that we've had this afternoon for, we'll learn more on our, but you can give to CASA.org, you can donate, you can volunteer your time. Lauren, can you talk? Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys are welcome to donate to CASA, or you can volunteer your time by attending a 1-hour information session just to learn a little bit more about what it looks like to become a volunteer, just like Norma and Catalina. But we're glad that you guys tuned in and that you had your cocktails with us. And I think we're all going to say goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, y'all.
Thank you.